halftime.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Good morning, 11:01. A little rainy outside the home studio today. Glad to be with everybody for halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson here. Proud to be along with Matt Jones, Christian Johnston producing, and we'll take you for the next 3 hours here on May the 5th. Cinco de Mayo, I guess, right? Let's see what we got going on in halftime today. Bill King will join us at 1:15. Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry at 12 noon for a couple of hours. Alyssa Orange in about 30 minutes from Varsity Vibe, and anything else that you want to hit on as we go throughout the show today on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline at 877-377-6963. A happy National Concert Day to those who may celebrate here on May the 5th. I don't know what concerts you may be going to on a Tuesday night. But I do read a little bit about this thing called Blue Dot Fever that is roiling certain concerts over the summertime. The blue dots, when you go to those websites, Ticketmaster, Live Nation, whatever, and you see the blue dots, those are the available seats. Seems like it's something contagious, Matt, that there are a lot of unsold tickets for some of these concerts, which include several Post Malone Jelly Roll shows, which have been canceled throughout the month of May. Meghan Trainor, Pussycat Dolls as well, and we haven't had a cancellation of Post Malone Jelly Roll at Fayetteville yet, but I did go on the page for the July 11th concert on Live Nation, and there are a lot of blue dots there. A lot of blue dots. But hey, you got more than 2 months before that concert. But they canceled most of their shows in the month of May, if not all of them, which includes Birmingham, which I thought they would have sold out for. Who knows if that thing will happen. But to you, because I know you're a big musicologist, a happy concert day, National Concert Day to you. You have a favorite concert, a first concert, either one of those two?
Yeah, man. Happy Tuesday. I thought the blue dot was just what you followed on your navigation on your iPhone when you plugged it in. Hey, where are we going? And you just followed the blue dot. So I learned something new every day. Yeah, each show you go to is always interesting, just depending on the vibe and who you're with. But yeah, man, concerts are awesome. I figured your boy Canders, when he set out the tweet for the Post Malone and Jelly Roll, man, I figured it'd be sold out by now.
I know who you mean when you refer to as Candor too. You've given it's just a one name nickname now. It's like Prince, like Madonna, Candor. I know exactly who it is you mean. No, I saw it out there. It hasn't sold out yet. Not like I'm buying tickets, but I did go through the whole process to get to the end where I say, no, thank you. I don't want these tickets. I think it was second row seats, not on the field, but off in the grandstand, but still second row seats. 2 tickets were $289 plus $76 in fees, $28 in taxes. So we'll run you pretty close to $400 for those tickets. Hey, if you're a Jelly Roll fan, if you're a Post Malone fan, it might be money well spent, but I'm neither of those. So I don't know if it would be money well spent. First concert of mine, Barry Manilow. Yeah, that was the parents' decision. Your first concert usually is your parents' decision. First concert that I chose to go to without my parents was Depeche Mode. What about you, Matt?
Dave Matthews Band in Little Rock at Autel. That would have been the first concert. I think the second concert was George Strait, but yeah, Dave Matthews. That was my high school girlfriend. I don't know if people even burn CDs anymore, but she had an older brother, and I burned like 20 Dave Matthews CDs over a summer, and was Dave Matthews head to toe. So that would have been the first show. That was fun.
How do people bootleg concerts now? Because it used to just be on cassette tapes. Does anybody actually have a cassette player anymore that you could put on a table and bootleg an entire show? I mean, you're not really allowed to do that, but the Grateful Dead didn't care when you did that. Fish didn't care when you did that. They had tables there for the tape recorders. Anyway, I don't know if you could do it with your phone. I guess you're gonna record the whole show from your phone. Anyway, concerts are fun. We have them in stadiums. We have them in arenas. Same place you have athletic events because big crowds want to come see something that's a lot of fun. Which, when I look at this fact here, Matt, and I guess I'd thought about this, but I hadn't really realized it. This is coming from some Twitter account called Cornbread. Whether this is true or not, you can believe it's true. There's one school this year that has been ranked in every men's basketball and baseball poll during the 2026 season, and it's Arkansas. Of course, the football team never made it into the top 25. It's just, I hate when I see these things because you've got your basketball program in a really good place. You got 2 Hall of Fame coaches there running those things, and we're in wait and see mode for Ryan Silverfield. And Matt, that also goes along with another fact that I saw yesterday on some graphic displaying all the Power 4 football teams' records against top 25 teams since 2014, which would be the college football playoff era. And the Razorbacks have lost more games against the top 25 than anybody in the country during that time. And they've played more top 25 teams than all but 3 schools. So this, I don't know, kind of goes along with, well, then again, Arkansas baseball plays a lot of top 25 teams. So does basketball. But Arkansas's record in the top 25 since 2014 is 13 wins, 53 losses. So that means they have more top 25 wins than any team in the country, except for not more than any. They've got more top 25 wins than 11 ACC teams, 8 Big Ten schools, as many as Iowa. And of course, you're going to be facing a lot of top 25 teams. Now you face more now that you got 9 SEC games.
So Arkansas has more wins? Is that what you just said?
Well, they have more wins against top 25 schools than 11 ACC teams. 8.
And we won 0 games last year?
And won 8. Exactly.
Oh.
Man,
you could be in the ACC, I guess.
What was the last top 25 win? I guess that would have been Tennessee 2 years ago, right? So even with that, one win against a top 25 school in the last 2 years, the Hogs still have more than all of the ACC teams except for Miami, Clemson, and I think it was Florida State. Basically half the Big Ten and as many as Iowa, and that's a perennial bowl team, and certainly more wins than most of the schools in the Big 12. But I mean, that's there's no surprise about this. Every single year, what was it? Arkansas's got the second toughest schedule in the nation, second to Texas this next year. So it just kind of goes right along with it. Yeah, 13-53 against top 25 teams. Auburn during that time has lost 48 games against top 25. South Carolina lost 44. Vandy is 8-40. Even last year's national champion has 27 more losses against top 25 than wins. Of course, Indiana really just found football 2 years ago. They're 11-38 in these last 12 years against top 25. Like, there's no direction to take this. It's like this is all just wait and see with Ryan Silverfield. It's just nobody that's listening to these facts would be surprised at all because every single year, baseball and basketball are in a good place. I mean, we're in a place here where you got the number 1 recruiting class for men's basketball, but we're worried about who's coming into the portal or who hasn't come into the portal when your roster is going to look pretty darn good. We're in a place with baseball where, people sometimes still try to compare what's happened this year to 2016, and you can't. But the only reason is because, well, the Hogs are in a place where they're probably not going to host, and that makes it a different season than usual. So you get all this success for baseball and basketball, and then football. We're in this total wait and see approach in which, truthfully, like I had a text come in yesterday. Somebody asked Matt about, what do you think of Ryan Silverfield now? Do you believe in him? Do you buy what he's selling and everything? And man, I'm kind of like you. It's like I just want to see what the team looks like when they play Utah. That's when I'll figure out maybe some things in my mind. Until then, yeah, I mean, I like how he talks. I like the pieces they've put together defensively. But outside of that, I'm going to be in wait and see approach for like half a season, probably even a full season.
Well, it should be a little invigorated from the last coaching staff. So you got to think you got to think there'll be a little bit more umph to it, so to speak, but it's still the SEC. We still open up against Georgia. I mean, you go down the list, it's still going to be it's not going to be easy, so to speak, but you got to think there's going to be some type of, positive vibes going on from a new coaching regime. So you got to think the attitude might be not so defeated as that last coaching staff. When you're losing so many games, it's just kind of, you're just like, oh, it's never going to change. So you've had to change everything, and so maybe change is on the way.
Yeah, good way to put it, too. Yeah, it's tough to see your way out of the paper bag when it looks like the paper bag has no light at the top of it when someone's closing it up. Well, you got a brand new paper bag, and see if this thing can hold everything you need it to hold for lunch today. Again, halftime. By the way, I did text Bill King, JT. He's good to go today. Forgot to text him last week. He's good to go today. Thank you very much. Alyssa Orange coming up in about 20 minutes. Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry, 12 noon for a couple of hours. And yes, Bill King at 1:15. Anything you want to hit on in the next segment, call us, text us. Lewis Automotive Group hotline is 877-377-6963. Reminding you about the best Tex-Mex and even better service at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith every day. Joe's makes fresh, from scratch, salsa, queso dip, and guacamole with crispy, warm chips to start your meal, plus fajitas, enchiladas, tacos, burritos, and much more. Always an experience that you will not forget at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service at 3400 South 74th, right across from Harps. joesfortsmith.com if you want to put in an order. All right, I got some baseball to hit on after Swatters Club yesterday. We'll get to that in a moment here on Halftime.
Brace yourself. Mayhem.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 cents with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with the free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good Feet, good life.
And Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Under my thumb, the girl who once had me down. Under my thumb, the girl who once pushed me around. It's down to me. The difference in the ocean swears down to me. The change has come. She's under my thumb.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Now let's get back to halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend Matt Jones.
He wasn't happy. He's not happy about it. Believe me, he wants to pitch. So that's probably about all I should say on it.
Just to confirm, who said that? Yeah, who said they won't let?
Who do you think? His doctor. You know.
Is there any chance that mind could change this year?
Down there, the mind of the doctor in Dallas.
Be the one.
Nah, I doubt it.
All right,
I doubt it.
It's Dave Van Horn after the Swatters Club yesterday, and it's funny. So often Dave will say something like, "I shouldn't say any more about that," and then he will say a little bit more about that if you prod him just a little bit. And a couple of texts already came in about this Carson Wiggins situation, and you just have to give up on him for the remainder of the year. And I don't know what to think. I don't know what this means for the future, because I really think that if you're going to try to show that you're healthy for Major League scouts and Major League front offices, the best way to do that is to go out and pitch right now. Otherwise, I don't know why you're getting shut down. You know, and obviously you can hear this as a decision that Carson didn't have anything to do with. If he's upset about it, and that's what Dave says, my assumption is that his family also is not happy with this call by the doctor that they chose to work this procedure and to work the rehab behind it and to make the final call, because this isn't the team doctor that has made this call. It is Carson's doctor that made the call. And if he's not happy about it, how can the family be happy about it? And it seems to me the best way to market yourself for the next level is to play. That to me is like, man, we talk about Darren Peterson a lot, the Kansas player. Don't you think the best way for him to market himself would have been to play for those? I mean, if he's going to be a number 1 overall pick, you got to go out and play like it. Or just if you're going to be a first-round pick, go out and play like it. I'm sure he's still going to be picked in that place because he did show when he was out there that he's good enough. But that's kind of the thing. I always feel you got to show the next level what you can do now, because they're not going to go by what you did 2 years ago. They're not going to go by what you did coming out of high school. They got to see something right there in front of you. Carson can't show these major league front offices anything right now, unless I guess they go to his house in the offseason before the draft and watch him throw and make their decision based on that alone.
Yeah, you got to be healthy. If the doctor says you're not healthy, and emotionally, mentally, are you healthy? And just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're not gonna have a plan. You're gonna have a plan. So doctor says you can't pitch. All right. So what's the plan? We're not privy to that. So it's not about right. I mean, and as an athlete, as a team, you're not even thinking about him because he hasn't been there all year. It would just be a bonus if he showed up. But as the players, it's like he's not even there. So it's just business as usual.
The problem is that that's been in the back of everybody's mind. I don't know if it's been in the players' mind, but it certainly has been in the back of the coaches' minds, because Dave's talked about this at Swatters Club. Matt Hobbs talked about Carson Wiggins with me, knowing that I may bring some of that stuff on the air, and they did expect that he would be available to pitch by now. And so that's why they talked about it. And I don't think they would have brought it up the number of times that it did get brought up had they not seen him pitching in bullpen sessions and against hitters where it's like, okay, this kid looks like he's ready to go. And that's exactly what they thought. So I completely, health is the premier thing about a player, no matter what. If you're not healthy, you don't play. And there's a difference between being healthy for bullpen sessions and live hitting, maybe live hitting, because if you're throwing to live hitters and it's not a game, you're still throwing to live hitters, and you're still competing at that point. There's no pressure on you. There's no game situation to worry about. Stressful pitches don't really, I think, enter into the equation at that point, but you're still throwing to live hitters, and you did it by throwing 100 miles an hour. So when I hear that, I think the kid's healthy. You're not throwing 100 miles an hour on a routine basis for 3 to 4 weeks in a row to in bullpens or to some live hitters if you're not healthy. I don't think these things go together. So that, to me, is why the coaches are pissed about it. Carson seems to be, if I go see him on Friday and ask him what he thinks about this, maybe I get a real answer, maybe I don't. But from what Dave says, he wanted to pitch. So he thought he was healthy. Now I don't know what the doctor can see on all of these tests. Maybe there's something that's out of whack. Maybe there's something that's hanging. Maybe there's loose bodies in the elbow, the same way with Tarek Skubal. He's got to undergo this surgery that's going to cost him a few months. But I don't know if that would have been the case if he would have already been throwing for 3 weeks in a row at 100 miles an hour. And that's where the misunderstanding isn't the right idea. That's where I can't see how the two sides of this really are coming to a logical conclusion. But here's the conclusion. He's not going to pitch for Arkansas this year. He just isn't. And then what is it about the future? I thought you market yourself by pitching. Well, you can market yourself by being an ace next year. Because as of right now, I just don't know if Carson Wiggins goes in the top 2-3 rounds. And he's, without question, got an arm to be a top 10, maybe even the number 1 overall pick. So if you go into the draft right now and sign, you're leaving money on the table. Probably a lot of money on the table. And you already may be leaving money on the table by not pitching this year. So you go to the draft this year after showing I'm healthy for a month, and I pitched an inning against Oklahoma, and I pitched 2 innings against Kentucky, and I pitched, 4 innings against a team in a regional, and so on and so forth. You can point to that, and they've, hey, big league front office says, I'm healthy. Let's do this. Carson Wiggins picked 13th overall, something like that. Not going to happen now because he's not about to show anybody that he's healthy. So it just seems to me, it doesn't make sense to me. And maybe it's not supposed to make sense to me because I don't have a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical degree. And I don't know what it's like to throw 100 miles an hour. It's just disappointing in so many ways. Because I do think in the back of some of those players' minds, Matt, they did think about Carson Wiggins because they knew the situation too. Some of those guys were hitting against Wiggins. They were the guys that were standing in on these 100-mile-an-hour pitches. And they're thinking, oh, my gosh, this is faster than any pitch anybody on this team throws right now. This might help us out in May. So I don't think they'd look at it and say, oh, poor us, we don't have Carson Wiggins, because they've gotten to this far where they're going to be right now a 2 seed without him. But they also know they could be a better team with him. The coaches know that. I think Carson knows that too. This has nothing to do with whether or not Carson Wiggins actually wants to pitch at Arkansas. This has to do with where is the disconnect between here's a kid who's showing he's healthy to the coaches and the doctor says he can't pitch. Anyway, that's about 10 minutes on a pitcher that you're not going to see this year. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group Hotline. You know it's going to be fun in the next, well, it won't be in the next couple of weeks, Matt, because it'll be in 3 weeks. The SEC announced yesterday we're doing automatic ball strike challenge in the SEC tournament. This is the only college league that's going to do it. So you remember what happened when Major League Baseball measured all the hitters before this season for the introduction of the automatic ball strike challenge. More than half of Major League Baseball lost height because the smaller players, a smaller strike zone. You know that's coming to the SEC. And we'll actually have it play out in front of us real time because we've had to now, you're going to have like 3.5 months of a guy that's 6'3", and then all of a sudden in the SEC tournament, he's 6'1". What happened in these last 2 weeks? I understand maybe sometimes there can be some back injuries where you shrink a little bit. I don't know if that happens to 22-year-old baseball players late in the season, but this is going to be interesting.
Very interesting. Why don't they put them on a pitch count then? You know, you talk about minutes restriction. There's guys in the NBA, they get hurt, they come back. It's like, all right, well, you can't play all 40 minutes. Are they trying to clear him to he's 100% healthy, or is it, hey, man, he can give you 27 pitches? Like, what keep his pitch count under 30?
I don't think you let him get out there unless he is 100% healthy. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like if you've gone out and pitched to some of your own teammates and you've thrown bullpens on a routine basis for a month or longer, to me that shows you're healthy. If you can go do it once, fine. If you did it the next week, that means you've gone through your whole recovery process, the build up to the day where you're going and you're throwing your bullpen, and it was fine. And then you did it again the next week. And then you did it again the next week with more pitches thrown. To me and to the coaches, that means he's healthy. And, of course, he'd come back with a pitch count of some sort because any pitcher that's just starting against real competition, opposing hitters, is going to have a pitch count. Like, I think Gabe Gackle was 80, 85 pitches for the first game of the season. And then they're going to let him go to about 100 after that. I don't know if that would have been the case with Wiggins, but what was the number you put out there? 30? That'd be perfect for him, like for his second outing. Perfect. To come out either as an opener, throw a couple of innings, give you 30 pitches, see how you do. And then the next week, you're up to 45, you're up to 50 maybe. So, yeah, I think they absolutely would have had a pitch count on him. They have pitch counts on any pitcher that's coming back from an injury or early in the season. Yeah, I mean, I really think, to me, you do all the things he's done. That has to mean that there's something close to being really healthy. And then maybe the doctor sees something that looks out of line. But then what happened for the previous month? It's disappointing. And a lot of people, think that it's the kid's fault that he doesn't want to pitch. I don't think that's the case at all. Because Carson's been with the team on some of these road trips. He's still, in uniform quite a bit, and he's celebrating with his teammates or everything. Like, I don't think he's going to be going home or anything. He's not going to be leaving the team during this little run right now. So Scott says he thinks it screams agent interference. But then I also wonder, like, for an agent, are you really doing your job at that point? Because I think not throwing him this next month, if you're going into the draft, is costing him money, which is also costing you, the agent, money. So there's just not a lot about this that I can understand. And I'm probably not supposed to understand it, which is okay. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I want to tell you about Modular Orange. If you have a small business, you don't have a professional website, you're tired of messing around with do-it-yourself website builders, make sure you check out Modular Orange. They're in Fayetteville, and they build websites for businesses all across the state. They can also write, design, build, and maintain your website for just $95 a month, zero upfront costs or design fees. So don't just do it yourself, all right? You can focus on serving customers and growing your business by working with Modular Orange. They're going to make sure your business actually shows up where people are looking. And you can learn more by going to modularorange.com or call 479-755-3043 and get a polished website built in just 2 to 3 weeks at Modular Orange. We'll break, and Alyssa Orange from Varsity Vibe joins halftime right after this.
I just think if you don't get the donors, the Jerry Joneses, whoever can put the money in, it doesn't matter who you get as coach.
This is halftime.
Take it from Arkansas greats, Joe Klein and Pat Bradley.
The big national sports apps are now in Arkansas, taking over Oaklawn and Bentley, which are no longer local.
Making Bet Saracen the only real local app.
Still Arkansans fan fave.
Plus, Bet Saracen is still the official sports betting app of many of the state's colleges and universities.
Bet Saracen, built by Arkansans for Arkansans.
Bet with Arkansans. Bet with Bet Saracen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental. 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Gelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Gelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Gelco Outdoors.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Disappointment is a part of sports. As they say, you can't win them all. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. From both personal and professional experience, I know that the road to victory is not always a straight line. If you have found yourself in a rebuilding year, your spouse has entered the transfer portal, you've been benched by an arrest, or you're on the IR from a car wreck, I'm here to help. Custody, criminal, car wrecks. Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent.
ESPN Arkansas is growing, and we're looking for motivated sales professionals with digital marketing and media sales experience to join our team. If you have a background in digital or media sales, love sports, and enjoy building relationships and helping businesses grow, we want to hear from you. We offer excellent pay, a market-leading commission structure, and full benefits including health, dental, vision, and life insurance. Ready to join an exciting team environment where every day is different? Send your resume to sales@hitthatline.com. That's sales@hitthatline.com. Pearson Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Can't you understand me? Baby, don't you hear me cry?
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Always appreciate a visit from sports director from Varsity Vibe, Alyssa Orange, here on a Tuesday morning. Alyssa, what's up? What's new in your world? Hello?
It's also Cinco de Mayo, more importantly. But my focus has been, I had a baby girl turned 5 yesterday. My Star Wars baby is now officially 5, so what we've been focused on the last few days.
Did you have her all dressed up in Princess Leia braids? You know, like the donuts on the ears? Is that what it is?
Right. No, not yet. Though she has watched some Star Wars, and the other day she wanted to watch the beginning of which one was it? It's The Return of the Jedi. So she wanted to watch the opening scene with Jabba the Hutt from Return of the Jedi. So she does know what Star Wars is, so she might be a Star Wars fan when she gets a little bit older.
Well, I got to get, you're a baseball fan, and this time of the year,
yes,
you want to be watching some baseball. Do you think, do you take this series win and the way it happened over Ole Miss as just something that's just sort of independent of anything that's moving? Do you think that there's some momentum you can take from this series win against Oklahoma and Kentucky? I guess the question is, do you think the team's getting better, Alyssa?
Sure. Yeah, well, I do, and I think winning series is important, right? I mean, obviously, you'd love to sweep and all the things, but to be able to take care of business at home, especially kind of the way they've been playing at Baum Walker this year, which is just strange in general, to be able to win against a team like Ole Miss at home is big. And then the way that they won it as well just feels like this team continues to believe in themselves even when things feel off. But you still have to be able to put pieces together, right? So can you do the same thing against Oklahoma? Can you finish the season up at Kentucky and go on the road and just get some momentum and continue to kind of build on what you're doing? I think there's just still some questions whether or not this team has the longevity to make a postseason run. And I feel like every time we see this baseball team play, and Phil, you can chime in too, I guess, but like, it feels like there's just kind of something else, like it's a new hiccup or a different wrinkle, and it's like, oh, they've got to kind of figure that one out too. It's like they figure one thing out and then something else pops up. So it's always good to win, though. So I don't want to take anything away from that. What is it going to do? Hopefully, it just makes them continue to feel like they're never out of the game as they get closer to what the NCAA tournament is going to hold.
Yeah, because by now, Alyssa, like, you kind of are what you are, and I think they've showed at times they can hit. This team can hit more against relievers than against the starters. So I think they'll be tough to kind of put away sometimes. But
sure.
I think right now the issue is a matter of consistent play in the fundamentals. Yeah. And see, you even see in the Ole Miss series there were early mistakes that Ole Miss took advantage of for their win on Saturday, and early mistakes that they took advantage of only to a point on Sunday. But the problem there is that, unfortunately, you get you get Arkansas that plays at least one really good game a weekend. You haven't seen it happen 3 times, right? And that's the issue, because when you get into a regional, once you make a big mistake and a really good team takes advantage of it, you're dropped into the loser's bracket, and then it becomes about pitching depth.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing is, like, are they set up to win something like a regional, right? And can they make that happen? And, I was in Hot Springs doing color commentating and play-by-play for the GAC, which is D2, right, this weekend for baseball. So I had a game on Saturday morning. The final score 21-19.
Ow.
There were 11 home runs in this game, right? And it's because it was a loser's elimination bracket game and pitching was depleted. And now it's just, can you just get through games? And then, of course, you think about whoever won that game is going to have to turn around and beat the winner's bracket team twice. I mean, you didn't have pitching in this early game, and so I know that's D2, but it's kind of the same thing. If Arkansas gets themselves in a situation, can they weather that storm? Are they built to win? We know that they are better suited right now to win in a super regional type format, right? Because you can win 2 or you can at least win a series. You're built for that. Are you built for a regional long term? And that's the biggest question.
Okay, I gotta get some info on this game you called. You called a game with 40
Oh my God,
runs?
it was insane.
How many homers? What?
11 home runs. This one guy had 3 on his own. There was back-to-back-to-back home runs. It was crazy because one team would put up, it's Southern Arkansas and Northwestern Oklahoma State, and you just didn't feel like either of these leads were safe. And it was just like, or Southeastern Oklahoma, I'm sorry. But nothing was safe because it's like, oh, you just put up 7, but it's okay because they're going to put up a 9 spot in the bottom of the inning. Or like, oh, you'll put up 6, no big deal. They'll put up 6. Like, they kept answering offensively back and forth. And it was one of the wildest things I've ever seen. I called it with JB Brazil. We both were just like, it started at 9:30 and it was over 4 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the kind of game you wake up from the next day and you think you're hungover from it.
Yeah.
You didn't have a thing to drink.
Yeah. I mean, it was nuts. It was like, okay. And then I had to turn around and call the very next game. I had like a 35-minute break in between. And I just like the adrenaline rush after it hits you and you're like, oh my God, my head is killing me. Like you just are in such a adrenaline rush and then you're like, holy cow. So we have softball this upcoming week in Bentonville for the GAC, which is obviously not as long as baseball games, but it was a fun weekend. But that was something I'd never experienced. Even just watch, I don't think I've experienced a game like that with an Arkansas team. And there was one player for Southeastern, and I just was joking because he kept hitting home runs. Like he hit 3. And his 4th time at bat, I made a reference to, I'm sure you remember that SEC tournament when Arkansas was playing Florida, and Chad Spanberger did nothing but hit home runs. And then you have the conversation of, do you even pitch to this guy anymore? Like, why are you still pitching to him?
Do you remember the other aspect of that game? Because I think that was the same game something else crazy happened in Hoover. Arkansas-Auburn. You remember the other aspect of it?
Yeah. It was nuts.
It was a no-hitter. It was a combined no-hitter one-rule win with Spanberger hitting 3 home runs. It's one of the weirdest games I've ever seen.
Crazy. It was crazy. But that's kind of what that felt like on Saturday morning in Hot Springs.
Yeah, just a little bit like that, right? Hey, speaking of softball, Arkansas gets the winner of Mississippi State and Kentucky tomorrow. But the tournament's in Kentucky, for crying out loud, Alyssa. So they're playing it in Lexington.
Right,
so
sure.
This, to me, shows a great reason why I'm really happy that the SEC is moving the softball tournament to a neutral site in the future.
Well,
but it's a AA baseball park outside Huntsville that they're moving it to.
Yeah. No, it'll be good to be in a neutral site. I think they're going to see if it can kind of be like a Hoover, where it becomes a destination of sorts, instead of bouncing around the SEC like softball has done for so long. But you talk about it being in Lexington this year. I mean, you remember a couple years ago when Arkansas hosted and that thriller they had against Alabama that first game, and then they lost. They lost that game to Alabama at home. So I don't necessarily think it matters where it's played, though you always want to play at home. There's a little bit of an advantage to it, but it's the postseason. It's a little bit of a different feel. And hopefully Arkansas can go over there in Kentucky, regardless if they're playing Mississippi State or Kentucky, and take care of business. I just think, again, this is a team that doesn't beat themselves. So they're playing really well right now, and especially the way they played, coming off that Oklahoma series and that Texas series. You just feel like this Arkansas team is just firing at a different level than we've seen them at this time of the year these last couple of seasons.
But you also know what it's like with Courtney's program, and it's probably unfair about this. It's the same with baseball. It's like, all right, well, when you winning that national title, up until then, it's like nothing's good
Exactly.
enough. Right, with Courtney,
Right.
40
Well, they
plus
got,
wins.
and that's the big question.
Yeah, 40 wins in 5 of the last 6 seasons shows an amazingly consistent program in an era where that's tough to do.
Sure.
But it's got to be about getting
Sure.
Oklahoma City at some point, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that's the big thing is you got to get to the women's college World Series. Like, you have to get to Oklahoma City at this point. You've been so close time and time again, and then it slips through your fingers for one reason or another. And, you thought they were going to do it in 2021, right, when Texas came in here and beat them. And then Texas went on to go to that championship series that year, and losing to Ole Miss a season ago. You're so close, right? And so you just have to get over that hump. And we've always said, what team is it going to be? Oh, it could be this team. It could be this team. And I think it can be this team for sure, but you've just got to be able to play well, but also things got to bounce your way. Just like in baseball, certain things just kind of have to go your way to get to Oklahoma City. And once they get there, well, it's almost like that pressure's off. You've finally gotten here, and now see what you can do. So I'm really excited to see softball these next few weeks and how everything unfolds.
Hey, Alyssa, when do the softball and baseball high school tournaments start?
Sure. So regionals for, your smaller classifications, your 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A have already started. The state tournament's going to start this upcoming weekend for all of the other divisions, in 5A and 6A. But then all concluding in Hot Springs. So Hot Springs state finals will be the week of Memorial Day weekend at Majestic Park down there, the 21st through the 23rd. So it's postseason time for softball, baseball, and soccer in high school, so it's exciting.
Well, it is super exciting. Usually when we get back to Fayetteville after the SEC tournament, we've come back during the high school championship game, which is really a lot of fun when you get to Baum. You got a lot of people there.
I know. I wish it was still at Baum. It's in Hot Springs this year, so
well, they've got a fantastic set of baseball fields at that Majestic Park facility, so I'm glad they're getting it.
Yes, it's so nice. Again, first time there last weekend with the GAC. And really nice, all turf, just good facilities. They continue to renovate and redo a lot of like the press boxes and the stands and all that kind of stuff. So working really hard out there to continue to try to host some of these events. And I'm excited to get back down there in a few weeks.
Alyssa, always appreciate you stopping by. Thanks a lot.
Yes, of course, guys. Anytime. Enjoy your week.
It's Alyssa Oren, Sports Director of Varsity Vibe. Go to varsityvibearkansas.com. You can register for the newsletter. Just download Alyssa's podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. It's Varsity Vibe. Opening up the Lewis Automotive Hotline now, 877-377-6963. I always to tell you also about what's going on at the Greenwood School District over the summertime. Youth sports camps. They're available for you to sign up now. Baseball, softball, basketball, or football. This is the Greenland School District Summer Youth Sports Camps, open to everyone. You don't even have to be a student at a Greenland school. Go to greenlandsd.com, and registration ends May 18th. These are camps for Pee Wee sports for students entering grades 2 through 6, exception of football being 4th through 6th grade. Baseball and softball camp are $20. Basketball and football are $35. You get a T-shirt with it. It's greenlandsd.com to register. Baseball camp is May 26th and 27th. Softball is May 29th and 30th. Basketball June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Football June 15th, 16th, and 17th. greenlandsd.com to register online. We're back in a moment. Wrap up hour number 1 of halftime.
When you said depends, you're exactly right. If we stop getting what's in the back of older people's depends, we'll get a little better.
This is halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked.
Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's.
A friend is someone who knows where you came from. Someone who always shows up when you need them. Someone who's there for the good times and the challenging ones. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans backed by the team J.D. Power ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 7 of the last 8 years.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Rich Eisen here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payments sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app and share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required. Not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Dozy Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Dozy Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
The Masters are a tradition like any other, but once you get past the Masters into May, a great college baseball tradition, unlike any other, is canceling games when there's no bad weather. Beautiful day in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, yet Pitt canceled their Tuesday afternoon game against Mercyhurst. 0% chance rain in Eugene, Oregon today, yet Oregon canceled their midweek game against Grand Canyon. Also 0% chance rain in Raleigh, North Carolina today, but yet the Wolfpack canceled their game against North Carolina A&T. What is the tradition unlike any other in college baseball? RPI cancellations. Matt Jones, you say quite often competitors compete. You kind of get addicted to the competition. Unless your RPI is really at a spot where you can't risk lowering it by beating the crap out of a really awful baseball team. And that's what's going on here. Pitt has the 49th ranked RPI. So they don't want to play Mercyhurst, whose RPI is 299 on a beautiful day in the Steel City. Oregon's RPI is 27. They don't want to play Grand Canyon. RPI 218. NC State, they're just on the edge of, they're on the bubble right now with an RPI of 37. So they're not playing RPI number 281 in North Carolina A&T. Every single cancellation in college baseball today is viewed through that jaundiced eye, which includes 52 Purdue canceling 228 Ball State. But you know what they've got today in West Lafayette? Great chances for rain all night long. So they had the cancellation already baked in there for them, but there's no way Purdue wants to play Ball State. There is literally no other sport where this happens. You cannot cancel a football game during Cupcake Week. Well, now Cupcake Week is week 1 and 2 in the 9 SEC scheduled era. You can't cancel your basketball games, can you? I've never seen that before, unless it's COVID and you just don't want to play. Baseball. Tradition unlike any other. RPI cancellations. Hour 2 of halftime after this.
Summer break means weekend road trips and family vacations. This is Mark at WW Automotive. Before you head out of town, head over to WW and let us check your AC system. From full AC charge to replacing system parts, we'll make sure your air blows cold when you're out on the road. Cars, trucks, foreign or domestic. Find your AC specialist at WW Automotive. Call me or Kelly or come see us at our original location at the corner of Townsend Avenue and South O. Our address is 1600 Townsend. Our phone number is 242-1600.
When it's time to stock the bar, fill the cooler, or grab the perfect bottle, stop by River Point Wine and Spirits. You'll love our clean, organized store, full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer at the right price. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. So come stock up for game night, date night, or the weekend ahead. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song.
Catching lightning bugs at dusk, drinking from the water hose, playing wiffle ball in the neighborhood empty lot. Summer holds a lot of memories. Don't miss another one with your child. If you need a teammate to handle a high conflict co-parent, call me, Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Now offering premium representation in high conflict divorce and custody matters. Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, strong to severe thunderstorms expected. We could see some damaging wind, hail, and even a few isolated tornadoes. Temperatures today into the mid-70s north, close to 80 south. Chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Overnight lows will drop down upper 40s north, mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Table one Razorback.
It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Hi, welcome back in. Halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. It's 12:01. It is officially the afternoon. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones in the studios, right across from the unit, one and only Christian Johnston. We'll be bringing on Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry in just a little bit here. I see that the first-time candidates for Cooperstown have been released, and I don't see anybody that's going to the Hall of Fame on a first ballot this next year. Maybe Buster Posey. Truthfully, out of the, what is that, 4 times 3, that's 12. There's 15 players on here. I only see one Hall of Famer anyway, and that would be Posey. I don't know if I'd put him up there at first ballot Hall of Famer category. Kyle Seager, Jay Bruce, Jake Arrieta, Todd Frazier, Dexter Fowler, Brett Gardner, John Lester, maybe Lester. It'll take a few years. Ryan and Jordan Zimmerman, Joaquin Soria. Matt, I see a lot of guys here are Hall of Very Good, not Hall of Famers. The Hall of Very Good, though, should mean something. I should think they should build one of those somewhere. Hall of Very Good. Where exactly would you put that? I'm not quite sure. Let's bring Hall of Famer Clay Henry on with us here. First ballot Hall of Famer Clay means something more than just being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
None of those guys are.
The Hall of Very Good, it should be in, like, Van Nuys, California.
It's got to be in a really nice place.
Well, I don't know if that's a really nice place or not, but it'd be someplace that I'll never go. I'm not into the Hall of Very Good.
I saw Jay Bruce play live. I don't know that he's a Hall of Famer. He was fast.
He's
I
a
got
good
to see him
hitter.
play when he was at Cincinnati.
Don't you know a Hall of Famer when you see it?
Well, sometimes you think you do, but then it's so much is it about like the collection of stats that the guy had at the end of his career. That's a lot of it. What it turns into, and just separating the one from the other. Bruce, to me, Matt, looks like a kind of a Hall of Very Good kind of a guy.
Me too.
For about 10 years there, he was good for 25 to 30 home runs and 244 career batting average. Yeah, he made a few All-Star teams. He was really good. And he should have his, I don't know, if you're really good, do you get a plaque somewhere or a statue? Because some guys have statues that didn't make Hall of Fames either. Jay Bruce was good. Jake Arrieta, remember the year he won the Cy Young Award? He had one of the most dominating second halves in Major League history and never came close to it again. So, I mean, he had one amazing year and then a good career for the rest of his career. Scott Kazmir is kind of like that, too.
Let's just go ahead and put Pete Rose in.
Well, I don't think he's eligible for this next year, but I think it's in 2 years, Clay, that whatever the Veterans Committee is the ones that'll vote on him. And that's why I wonder if they will vote for him or not. I know it's easy to say, well, they'll vote for him because it's ex-players, but they're all guys that followed the rules of not betting on baseball, and I do think that they might take that very seriously. It's like the same idea. Barry Bonds didn't get voted in by the same kind of people, the same sort of committee, players, executives who appreciated his talent and what he did in his career, but they didn't vote him in.
They didn't vote him in. You're
So
right.
I still don't think Rose will get in because he's being voted. His vote now depends upon the people that follow the rule. So I just kind of wonder about that. Anyway, there's some other things to hit on here, which include Clay. First of all, it's just nice to have you here today.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here. I mean, I feel like I'm around you a lot, Phil, and I'm not. Like, like, I mean, you come into my living room, you just ride down the highway in my truck, and then, it's just like I'm talking to an old friend, and I talk to you while you're on the air.
You talk more to me or more to Bubba?
More to you.
Okay.
More to you. But Bubba, I just kind of soak him in. Not sure I ever talk to him.
There's a lot of soaking that goes on there.
Yeah, there is.
A real lot of soaking.
Yeah. But I definitely talk to you. And, and I will kind of pump my fist a little bit. I was in my truck driving to meet my wife for dinner after fishing Sunday afternoon, and heard your call of Christian Turner, and I did a little, like a little Tiger Woods, fist pump.
I'd be a little nervous on some of those windy roads that
This was going right down the on 412 rolling into Mountain Home.
Bobby from Cave Springs called in yesterday. He wasn't hognoxious yesterday, Clay, but he said that I forget where it was, like right outside Alpena. There's a dip in the road where you just lose your signal. He lost his signal during the Christian Turner at bat and had no idea what happened. When he came out and got the signal back, he hears the post-game commercial running, so he knew it was the end of the game.
Well, it could have been the third out.
He didn't know it happened. Yeah, that's just so you've been listening for the entire game, and then the last thing you miss is the thing that mattered. It's like I remember as a kid, I was driving. Parents and my sister were going. I think we were going up to. We were driving to New York for some reason. We're listening to a Pirates radio broadcast the entire way. They're playing against the Phillies, and Doug Drabick is throwing a no-hitter to where, like, this is before the internet. We're like zooming around on various stations, thinking the Pirates have various affiliates out this way, and at some point we just had to pull into a gas station and just hold on to the last little bit of whatever AM signal we had to hear Sil Campusano break up the no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning. But that's what you got to do when you're listening to a broadcast. How are you going to end it, right? Now you can at least go to your phone and pull up Hit That Line app or the Varsity app or whatever. But we had to actually hang on to, out of maybe a 5,000 watt AM signal, we had the last watt of that signal that we were listening to through all of the popcorn crackling there on the radio.
The worst ever of I'm not sure what happened story, my wife can tell. We had moved into our house in Norfolk, but had not unpacked, and the Razorbacks were into the championship round in Omaha against Oregon State. And she said, "You just go. I'll put everything up. And now, how are we going to watch TV?" And I said, "We've got DSL. We're going to get DirecTV, but we've got DSL. You can watch it streaming." Well, DSL is antiquated, and there's a lot of buffering involved. And there was buffering that hit on the foul ball that went down the right field, and she didn't know what happened. And I called her, and she goes, "Well, what just happened?" It was kind of hard to tell her. But that was the end of ever doing streaming for a long time till we got fiber optics.
So one of my friends, Wes Moore, Wes does TV in Little Rock, and he's on 103.7 there, and I used to work with Wes. In fact, I was his show producer during that College World Series in 2018. So Wes was at that game too, and he's waiting to get on the field. In that 9th inning, you think they're going to close it down. He's going to go out and talk to some of the players and get really great sound bites and everything, but he can't see what's happening because there's so much of a media crush. So he's listening to the broadcast while it's going on, and he hears pop up, and then couldn't hear anything else because there was so much screaming that went along. He had no clue what happened with that play. He thought that the screaming meant that they had just won the championship, and he's trying to force his way out onto the field, but there was still another half inning to play, unfortunately. So you never know what you're listening to, and you really can't hear it anymore.
I've gone down on the field with 5 minutes to go. Usually, if it's a tight game, I'm going to wait. But I was going down on the field in the last couple of minutes of the Holiday Bowl when Kendall Traynor kicked the field goal to beat Arizona State, and I missed the field goal. It was in the last minute, and I was in an elevator and came out, and didn't know what happened. That's a weird feeling too.
Yes, that's a very weird feeling. So, yesterday John Sterling died, Clay, and we talked about Sterling quite a bit. I was always a Sterling fan. Like, I literally would just pick out Yankee radio broadcasts once I got my MLB.com membership. I want to listen to everybody, but I always like listening to Sterling. Now, one of the things I try to do as a play-by-play announcer is details. I think details are so important. If people will tell you, I feel like I can see the game when I'm listening to you. Well, it's because I want to tell you if the guy, backhanded it or scooped it up, if he stayed in front of the ball or if he tried to play it off to the side. Maybe sometimes which foot hits the base on your way around second towards third, that kind of stuff. It's details that you really want to know. Sterling didn't give you the details. He told you the big things. And then the personality was also just part of it. You're going to be a play-by-play broadcaster. You're going to be somebody on the radio. You have to have personality. And Sterling was all personality. But I also think that I probably heard him at a point where he had changed his style of how it was that he called games. Because I don't think you get to the Yankees as the voice of the Yankees in 1989 at age 51 without being incredibly good at everything that goes into it. And then it comes to a point where nobody can even think of someone else calling the game, which is what it turned into with Sterling. But he did so many other sports. And I'd known about this game that he had caught. So, Sterling's from New York. He grew up idolizing Mel Allen, who was the longtime Yankee broadcaster, was a Yankee fan, and he always wanted to be the voice of the New York Yankees. What a great life. He got there and did 36 years of it and was able to choose when he was going to leave the chair on his own. But before that, the guy did so many other things. I think he did like Islanders hockey. He did sports talk radio when sports talk radio wasn't a thing. There weren't sports radio stations when he's on like WMCA in the early 70s doing a sports show. People didn't do sports shows then. He was one of the first talk show hosts on the first real sports talk station, WFAN, which is where he and Susan Waldman became friends. Before he worked on WFAN, he worked in Atlanta. He did games for the Braves and the Hawks. And there's a great call of him calling a Rick Camp 17th inning game-tying home run when Camp was one of 3 players still left on the bench and he's a pitcher, and they'd already used all their pinch hitters. And he goes up and he hits a game-tying home run. I think it was against the Mets, and Sterling went bonkers. But I want you to hear this. This is John Sterling calling a basketball game between the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks being played in 1985 in New Orleans at Lakefront Arena. I don't know if the Omni was being rebuilt then or what, or if Atlanta just didn't draw very well in Atlanta, so they played some games in an area that was sort of in their region in New Orleans. But this is a legendary game. This is when Larry Bird set the Celtics record for points scored in one game.
On the deep left corner, down low for Bird with position. He fakes it and shoots it good.
Great move. They're picking the Hawks apart right now with their passing.
DJ in the lane. Bird the fall away is good. Dennis Johnson misses a shot. Rebound Bird. Bird on the baseline. Great pass. Oh, what a pass. Larry Bird to McHale. Some pass by Larry Bird. That's what I mean. He invents. He is the great inventor. And Eddie, a lead for Dominique. Driving Dominique to the rim. Oh, what a drive by Dominique.
Great move. That's the hang time.
Dominique has 15. Atlanta by 2 in a brilliant game. Down low, Bird. His layup is good. Basket counts. He got fouled. Larry Bird. We're very lucky. This is the third television game we've had against Boston. They've all been beauties. In front court, posted up high is Parrish. Off to Bird for the opening 20-footer. It's good. You can't give him that shot. You give him that shot, it's in the well.
That's right.
Bird has 25. Ray Williams down low for Bird, who feels it and takes it and drills it again. He's unbelievable. 5 remaining in the third. Bird for the bomb. Got it again. A 3-pointer. You're seeing the greatest in the game, Larry Bird. Bird with 8 seconds. Bird on the drive. The runner. It's good again. You're seeing a greater performance as you'll ever see from Larry Bird. 0. Bird the fall away. Tough shot, and he drills it again. They open the right side. Bird the fall away. He drills it again. That's the best shooting I've ever seen in the game.
Yes, indeed.
Dennis Johnson, a lead for Bird.
They want him to keep scoring too.
Bird takes the jumper and hits it again. Bird has 54. One more basket will tie the record McHale set for most points by a Celtic in one game, and McHale didn't set it more than a week ago. With 3 seconds, Bird will try another jumper and hit it at the buzzer. Bird has 60 points. Larry Bird scored 60 points. Look at the Boston players mob him. Larry Bird scored 60. It is the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen in my life.
You do 36 years with the Yankees, and unfortunately, some people boil down your career to the home run calls with the nicknames on them. You know, Swishalistic, Judgian Blast, an A-bomb from A-Rod. And the truth is, he was a tremendous play-by-play announcer for everything that he did. And I can even hear him right there calling, the way he's calling Bird's shot is the way that he would even call a pitch, the 2-2 pitch. There was a certain way that he spoke that I think also brought people in, and a gravitas that he had. So just, I don't like when people get boiled down to just the things you remember about sayings, and, you know, he would miss the home run call sometimes. And look, at Yankee Stadium, you're way up. You are way up. I think he called the game from the TV monitor. But that is great stuff right there from Bird and from John Sterling. And truthfully, it isn't just because he was from New York or was the Yankee play-by-play announcer. He's one of the greatest sports broadcasters of all time. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I want to tell you about the Fence Man, a fence that stands out and stands strong every time at the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. Fence Man has been serving our listening area for over 40 years, building custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. If you need automatic gates, the Fence Man does it. If you need financing, you got 18-month financing as well at the Fence Man. Go to thefencemanAR.com or call 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. We'll be back in a moment. This is Halftime.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
On second down, the give is to Felix Jones on an end around. Jones to the 30 to 40. Jones in midfield. He may go. 25 to 20. 10, 5. Touchdown, Arkansas. Felix Jones goes 72 yards, and the Razorbacks increase their lead.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric, and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Let's tee up for a great cause. Join us for Mercy's Golf Classic on Monday, May 11th at Hartscrabble Country Club. Enjoy a day of golf while supporting the expansion of our Mercy Cancer Center. Morning and afternoon tee times are still available. Register your team or become a sponsor by calling 479-314-1133 or visiting mercyhealthfoundation.net/FTSM Golf.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They're not just window and door experts. They're experts at taking care of you and your home. At Pella, they find the products that meet your needs and their experts install them. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Discover why Pella is a trusted choice for homeowners everywhere. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. That's Pella.com/Eisen.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Treating my friends. It's not the way you said you had. It's not the way or the things that you said.
Enjoy the music you hear on Halftime? Of course you do. Our Halftime playlist is brought to you by Bath Makeover of Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is a local Arkansas business installing American-made bathtub, showers, and walk-in tubs, and is the state's largest bathroom remodeler. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is also the official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Schedule your free design consultation by calling 1-800-NEW-BATH, and they'll lock in your price for 1 year. That's 1-800-NEWBATH, and you can check them out online at bathmakeoverar.com. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Listening to the radio, and I have no clue of the players on either team. All of a sudden, this name keeps coming. Bird. He goes to the right. Bird. He makes the strike. Bird. I said, God damn, who's Bird? Bird. You know, here's Bird. And Bird this, and Bird, oh, did you see the pass that Bird made? I can't see it, but I'm just trying to imagine it. And when the time I got to the end, I said, damn, that brother can play. Hey, let me tell you something. When I got the newspaper the next morning and saw Larry's picture, I said, damn.
That's great. We had a couple of texts in that remembered. They thought, that must have been the game that Coach Richardson was referring to in his Hall of Fame speech. It was 2014. Bird this, bird that. That sounded like Sterling too, didn't it?
Yeah, but I think that was a college game. From what I can remember, Nolan was, I think he was coaching it in El Paso, and Larry was playing a game. You know, he was in the Missouri Valley, and they were playing New Mexico State, and he was listening to that game. The way I remember him telling that story is that it was Indiana State, New Mexico State game. So, I mean, Nolan would have known that he was a white guy by the time he got to the NBA. But it was a college. You know, one of the great memories I have was trying to decide as a young college basketball writer in Tulsa. There was a night where Tulsa played Indiana State with Larry Bird, and ORU played DePaul with Mark Aguirre. And they're both unanimous All-Americans. And he's like, well, which game am I going to cover? I ended up picking the Larry Bird game. It's always frustrating. Larry Bird did not do any interviews while he was in Indiana State. Did no interviews. Post game, pre game, you couldn't talk to him. He just refused to do it. And his coach, what was that guy's name? He was a one-hit wonder. Had a great team. They returned all the starters except Larry Bird the next year.
I don't think they even made the NCAA tournament from the time they lost the national championship game until, what was the kid with the glasses, 2 or 3 years ago that transferred to St. Louis?
Yeah, they became a mediocre team. They had a great guard in Carl Nix, but without Larry Bird, it wasn't the same.
Well, just two things on that Bird, and the only reason I brought it up is because John Sterling called it.
Great calls, yeah.
But Larry Bird scored 60 in that game with one made three-pointer, and the next day Boston played at home against Phoenix, and he played 39 minutes and scored 31 points. And I just figured that would be a moment where there'd be a lot of players that might not play the next day in today's NBA, or don't play the 39 minutes. So, anyway, from 1985, from Bird and called by John Sterling. And another NBA note here. I didn't watch this last night, but I guess I'm not surprised that he's the third to ever do it. Wembanyama had a triple-double, including 12 blocks, 11 points, 15 rebounds, 12 blocks, and joins Akeem and Andrew Bynum as the only player in NBA postseason history with a triple-double that involves blocks. And it ain't going to be his last one either, is it?
No,
highly doubtable.
Alvin Robertson, who's the last guy to have a quadruple-double, did that with the Spurs. He thinks that Wemby will be the next guy to have a quadruple-double, and I wouldn't argue against that.
Well, so he would get it. Do you think he would get it in? He wouldn't get it in steals. Could he get it in assists?
Probably assist, yeah.
Here's my question too: like, if you block a shot, and then you recover the ball, do you get a rebound, or you don't? You'd still get the rebound then, right?
Well, yeah, it has to be a shot for it to be a block. If it's not a shot and you block it, then it's a jump ball. There's a difference between. But once it's a shot and you block it, there has to be a rebound. The box score has to justify.
Yeah.
So yeah, there would be, and the guy that was the best at that was Bill Russell. I mean, he'd block it to himself, or
and
block
start
it to
the fast
a
break
teammate.
by throwing an outlet.
He says if you can block it, don't block it out of bounds. He said that slows the game down.
877-377-6963 to join us anytime on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We'll remind you about Roback.com. If the weather is certainly getting to a place where you want to be wearing your Arkansas polos out and about, not just at Razorback games, but anywhere you go and you're around Razorback fans, check out the University of Arkansas Game Day collection at Roback.com. Brand new hoodies, polos, Q-zips that sell fast. It's RHOBACK, Roback.com. Rush26 is the code to use at checkout to get 20% off your first order at Roback, where action meets comfort. Back in a moment, hour number 2 continues of Halftime.
Love your show, Matt. You're one of my all-time Razorback heroes.
This is Halftime.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live in the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, serving the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
For generations, Hardscrabble Country Club has been the heart of great golf in Fort Smith. For 100 years, it's where families connect, friendships grow, and traditions are passed down. From its historic fairways to its welcoming community, Hardscrabble is more than a club. It's home. Join us as we celebrate a century of memories and create new ones together. Hardscrabble Country Club. Tradition lives here.
Spring has arrived, bringing warmer days, road trips, and unpredictable spring showers. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we'll make sure your vehicle is ready for all your spring adventures. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your ride for whatever the season brings. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Your plan to make it through for some other guy that you knew before. Those guys you know I love you more. Took me by surprise, I must say. Then I found out yesterday. Ooh, I paid it to the great. Not much longer would you be mine. Ooh, I paid it to the great. And I'm just about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, yeah.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry joining us here also on Halftime, 877-377-6963 if you'd like to get with us at any point here. It is time for our This Week in Razorback History, brought to you by our good friends at the Good Feet Store. Nothing more iconic than calling the Hogs. And here's how it developed. Early roots, late 1800s to the early 1900s. Farmers in Arkansas used calls like suey to gather their pigs. These sounds became widely recognized across the region. The university adopted it in the 1920s. Students began using hog calling sounds at athletic events after the school adopted the Razorback as its mascot in 1909. One early version of the cheer was simply suey. So it eventually evolved into woo as a high-energy opening yell. Pig, tied directly to the Razorback mascot, suey, remained the traditional hog call. For the 1920s to 1930s, the full woo pig suey chant became standardized, often led by cheerleaders with a coordinated arm motion and crowd participation. Of course, now it's one of the most recognizable chants in college sports. Tens of thousands of fans perform it together at baseball, basketball, football, and everywhere else they are watching Arkansas games across the country. So in short, Woo Pig Suey is a blend of rural hog calling tradition and college spirit turned into a signature identity for Arkansas athletics. Thanks to Dale Daniels for researching all of that about the introduction of Woo Pig Suey at Arkansas, and it is brought to you by our friends at the Good Feet Store. I tell you about the Good Feet Store a lot. Arch supports from the Good Feet Store are designed to alleviate foot, knee, hip, and back pain, plus provide improved balance, more comfort, and a better life. The folks at the Good Feet Store can show you how they can help turn your pain into possibilities with a free fitting. You get personally fitted by an arch support specialist, and then you walk around, see how they feel. You can decide whether they're right for you before you buy them. Good Feet Arch Supports are HSA and FSA eligible. You can book an appointment for a free fitting at goodfeet.com or just stop by. Walk-ins are always welcome. That's the Good Feet Store, 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They are in Fayetteville on Mall Avenue across from Walmart, or in Rogers, right across from Topgolf next to Hideaway Pizza, and also online at goodfeet.com. I actually had no idea about the introduction of the Woo Pig Suey, so I appreciate Dale doing all that research. So it goes back a long time before, and it, without question, is one of the most identifiable parts of any fan base across the country. And it's one of my favorite things is when we go for regional. We've been to regionals on the road a couple of times, and both places it's been Oklahoma City or Oklahoma State. So, I mean, over there, I think they're well-versed in the hog call. They understand it. When I have family come in, from the north, from Pittsburgh, and they saw the hog call or heard it for the first time, they didn't even know if they were still on Earth anymore. And now, it was one of my favorite things is seeing my parents, when they come to games, call the Hogs too, including my cute little mom that has never done anything like that before. But how can't you? If you're around 8,000 people at a baseball game that are doing it too.
You get caught up.
Yeah, absolutely, to get caught up. And then there's the view of, so we're probably not hosting a regional this year, but that's one of my favorite things is when you get to a regional and you got one of the cute Northeastern teams that comes in and they've never seen that before. It's like, it's seeing their eyes when they walk into Baum Stadium and see what, big college baseball is like, and they're playing at a stadium so often that's kind of like an American Legion field. And then you see the crowd support, and then the hog call always stands out. And you got to zero in on those athletes and the looks on their faces because they're not ever ready for it the first time they hear it. 877-377-6963 to get with us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. And then, speaking of actual baseball and the actual team that plays at Baum Walker Stadium, going to have a new general manager, but it's a face that people are used to.
Well, first off, he knows us. He knows our players. He knows our recruiting. He knows professional baseball. He knows a lot of the agents. He knows how to talk to them. Our players like him. They trust him. And he'll talk to them about things that I won't talk to him about it, especially during the year. Mm-hmm. And it's just a great fit.
Dave is talking about DJ Baxendale, who is now going to be promoted, I think it's in July, officially to baseball general manager. He'll still have the pitching duties that he's had for a long time, helping out Matt Hobbs in terms of scouting. But you knew that this was going to come down the line at some point. And the best part about this is that it's a baseball guy that is the baseball general manager. I still don't think that Remy Cofield, I wonder about if he's got really that much to do with football as a basketball guy, or if he's just negotiating contracts, and that's it. But Clay, Matt, I mean, it's like you want a guy, first of all, that you feel you can trust, and obviously there's an amazing amount of trust between not just Dave and DJ, but Hobbs and DJ, the rest of the players on that team who know him personally, and also the fact that DJ Baxendale knows what Dave is looking for in players, what Matt is looking for in players, and he's been through that ringer of negotiations before, through the draft as an early pick, then as a minor league free agent. You know, he'll know a lot of these agents, so I think it's a great hire, and it's somebody that's getting a promotion too, and he's just done great work already at Arkansas, so congratulations out to DJ Baxendale.
It just seems like the right fit. And when you hear it, just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And he knows the area. He knows the fan base. He's he would have a feel for a recruiting pitch, too, because that's, it's not going to be just dollars and cents. It's going to be more than that. But there would have to be trust between the head coach and the general manager. Those guys have to be, just about in lockstep, and I think that's going to be the case with DJ.
I know also Zach Barr will have additional roles when it comes to helping out the general manager, and he's also involved in some pitching aspects of things. But then there's also something else that I heard Zach say. I didn't realize it was him, but this was so Kuhio had this great game on Friday. In fact, he had a great weekend, of course, because he's the SEC Player of the Week. And this was after the Friday game, which Arkansas pounded Ole Miss 12-2. Aloy in that game was 3 for 4 with his first home run in 44 at-bats, drove in a couple of runs. And you'll hear first Bubba, you'll hear a little bit of Kuhio. Kuhio is shy. He didn't talk too much and talks a little bit lower. And then you hear Zach Barr.
I felt good coming in. It's May, so looking forward to playing postseason baseball. Man.
That's how a grown-ass man swings a bat.
Yeah, what he said. So.
I love it.
Sometimes your coach can answer the question better than you can. It's how a grown-ass man swings a bat, is what Zach said about Kuhio, which is probably the right way to describe the way that Aloy swings the bat, truthfully. But Clay, I'm seeing a difference in the way that he's hitting. Because there's that, we know what the Kuhio Aloy swing and miss looks like. It's like he almost falls down. He's swinging not just from the heels, but with his toes pointed to the sky. On 2 strikes, he's not doing that very much now. On 2 strikes, I'm seeing Aloy actually shorten up. I don't think he's choking up, but he's shortening his swing. And one thing you never saw Kuhio do very much was take advantage of the right side being open for him. That's why so many teams shift against him. He's now taking advantage of that right side being open. He's not swinging from the heels on 2 strikes. He's taking what they're giving him, and it's paying off big time. He's not striking out as much. He's not grounding out as much. And those 105 to 110 mile an hour ground balls and low rockets that he was hitting, he's now getting them in the air. This is somebody that can be a tremendous difference in the middle of the batting order, because what I'm seeing from Kuhio right now, guys, is that he is hitting the ball on a consistent basis as hard as he did last year at the start of the season when he was just like this wonderkind. You couldn't take him out of the lineup. And right now, he's a better hitter than he was then, because then last year on 2 strikes, he still was swinging from the heels. He's not doing that anymore. He's a much tougher hitter.
His approach with 2 strikes is that he lets the ball travel a little more, and he'll take it the other way. So he's able to wait a little longer on that slider, which was the pitch that was getting him out. a slider that's off the plate. If you wait a little deeper, maybe you recognize that spin and realize that it's the slider, that it's off the plate. He's not swinging at that pitch now, and it changes the way teams are pitching him. They tried to get him out inside on that one that he hit 469, and that was a pitch inside. Well, he's going to murder that one,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's been pitching away with that slider. Well, he's not swinging at it anymore. And you think, well, how easy is that to fix? It's impossible to fix, almost impossible. That's why that you see guys that don't, that don't make it in baseball. They cannot recognize the spin on the slider. And I'm not saying I could.
Yeah.
And it, just like it's so easy to see that's what he's doing, but it is so difficult to fix it.
Looking forward to playing postseason baseball, and
That's how a grown-ass man swings a bat.
See, sometimes I think, Clay, players get stuck in the idea of that's how a grown-ass man swings a bat. And that the idea is you swing as hard as you can no matter the count. And a lot of batters do that now. A grown-ass man gets to the major leagues and stays there by being a good two-strike hitter. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to just, look to poke singles on 2 strikes all the time. Because if you get that fastball inside, Carrillo can still turn on it and hit it 3 miles.
Well, Christian Turner hit a 2-strike home run. I mean, you can. The guy makes a mistake, you can tattoo it. But yeah, it's.
What I think is a grown-ass man is also a smart hitter. A grown man is somebody that can see what they're giving him and know the situation and appreciate the idea that, yeah, home runs are great, but 2-strike singles are pretty good too. Just give the next guy a chance.
Well, if you can't fix that, you will not make it in pro ball. And I see that Brett Iredale is struggling right now. He's in a deep slump, and I'm sure that's exactly what's happened. We saw it. He had some holes in his swing, and by the middle of the season, people figured it out last year. And every once in a while, somebody make a mistake, and he'd hammer it. But he's Cahoy is hitting good pitches. I mean, he's hitting pitcher's pitches now because he can catch up with the fastball. And he's going the other way. His power translates to any place in the park. It doesn't matter. He does not have to pull it, but it's still, it's pitching and hitting. You can't overpower the game. It will overpower you. And I'll never forget Ryan Stanek's first year and a half at Arkansas, and Dave Jorn told me he's trying to win the teddy bear at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what? He goes, if you throw it 95, you win the teddy bear. They've got the mile an hour, the mile power gun at the county fair. He says when he learns that he does not have to win the county fair teddy bear and becomes a pitcher, and that's not easy. You think, well, I'll just throw it a little harder. They can't hit it. But he could not command that pitch. And once he took a little bit off his velocity, he could command it. So it's, Cahoy, I'm going to mess his name up a million times, Aloy. You can't overpower the game. You've got to be able to control your bat, keep it in the zone, and boy, he's doing it now.
CrabTreeRV.com to get a look at the entire inventory at Crabtree RV Center. They've been doing it for 75 years and counting, way before they ever had a website, giving every family and their buyer the absolute best RV purchasing experience. Folks at Crabtree RV Center help you choose the right RV. Personalized financing right there in the top-of-the-line parts and service department where you made your purchase. It's Crabtree RV Center, where I-40 and I-49 come together in Alma. CrabTreeRV.com. Crabtree RV Center, making your dreams come true. Hour number 2 of halftime comes to an end after this break.
Is there no way we can get rid of him?
Not without cause, Michael.
I have cause. It is because I hate him.
This is halftime.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, your Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. Xerox is more than just a brand, it's your ultimate business partner. Whether you need high-speed printers, powerful copiers, or seamless cloud solutions, Xerox has the tools to keep your business running smoothly and efficiently. And right now, for a limited time, we're offering a free Xerox color printer with the lease or purchase of many Xerox models. To learn more, call us at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, your partner in business success.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
The Solid Rock will soon be celebrating 50 years as a locally owned source for inspirational gifts. From greeting cards and women's boutique items to custom laser engraving and a large selection of Bibles, they offer something for everyone. While you are there, browse their faith-based books, music, clothing, home decor, and unique, hard-to-find treasures for the whole family. And their Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock. Share the spirit, enjoy the inspiration. 452-4844.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Oh, we're going to have to get into this automatic ball strike challenge system that the SEC will be breaking out which makes it groundbreaking territory for college baseball and really groundbreaking territory for college sports to do something like this at the end of a season where nobody else is doing this. None of the other leagues right now I think they have the capability of doing it if they want to, depending on the ballpark they're playing in. ACC has their tournament, I think, every other year at the AAA ballpark in Durham. That ballpark has been set up for automatic ball strikes challenges for the last 2 years, if not 3 years. You know, any AA, AAA ballpark, Oklahoma City hosts Big 12, Ranger Stadium hosts Big 12 sometimes. They all are set up for this. The SEC is the only one to do it, though. The SEC, if I remember, was the first one to introduce a pitch timer, and now all of college baseball does. And to me, this is moving the college game closer to the professional game because it's getting away from it and needs to be moved closer to it. Because where are these guys going when they're done playing college ball? Not all of them go play professional minor league affiliated baseball, but a lot of them do. And when they go there, they're playing a different game than they're playing right now in college. They're playing a game that also has a pitch timer, but also has a 2 pickoff limit, that also has a ban of a shift. Any pitcher has to face 3 batters. These are huge differences, major differences. So at some point, the college game has to get closer to the professional game. This is one way that they're doing it. And it also makes it for potentially a better game. So who is this going to help more than anything else? You know what it's going to do? It's going to do 2 things. First of all, it'll expose the umpires who aren't very good. It will also show you how difficult the job of calling balls and strikes are. We're talking about millimeter differences that are getting called for strikes in Major League Baseball. It is a job that might not really have been meant for humans. And we're going to learn that over the next few years. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. And in hour 3, Bill King joins us in 20 minutes. We are right back.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fifth Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
Smalls here. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds can turn into sinus infections that last weeks, ruining your perfect vacation getaway. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and a pharmacy, it's stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having an urgent care and a pharmacy at home. It includes prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of illnesses. So if you wake up sick, at home, or on the road, you have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, and no pharmacy lines. Also, no copays. Match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor. Start meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs a medical emergency kit, so order yours online in minutes. It's shipped right to your door. Save $45 with my promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. That's promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. Prescription required. Always consult your doctor to determine if this product is right for you.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, strong to severe thunderstorms expected. We could see some damaging winds, hail, and even a few isolated tornadoes. Temperatures today into the mid-70s north, close to 80 south. Chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Overnight lows will drop down upper 40s north, mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Well, can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
What name of one Razorback?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back. Hour 3. Halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com with Phil Elson and Matt Jones and Christian Johnston producing. And if you want to get with us, Lewis Automotive Group Hotline will be open anytime except the next segment when we have Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joining us. 877-377-6963 is our Lewis Automotive Group Hotline. I've been through a lot of baseball stuff, a little bit of football, and none basketball yet. There's some basketball stuff I wanted to hit on. But people also asking about how you calculate RPI. Because I brought up in the first hour about RPI rainouts today in college baseball, in which there are some. There are rainouts in places where there is no rain today. Pitt canceled a game with Mercyhurst. Oregon canceled a game with Grand Canyon. NC State canceled a game with North Carolina A&T. You want to laugh about something here? How about the idea of Arizona State canceling a road game with Missouri for RPI purposes? Arizona State's RPI is 39, which puts them on the bubble. Mizzou is 122. So an Arizona State win over Mizzou, even on the road, isn't going to help them as much as they thought. But it's going to rain today in Columbia, so I don't know if that's the reason why. Tennessee may cancel a game with Presbyterian tonight. Tennessee's RPI is 34. So they're not all the way in yet. A win over Presbyterian, just playing Presbyterian, will lower their RPI. A&M, Prairie View A&M, Texas A&M doesn't need all that much help. They're going to host, so I bet you they play that game. But I think it would be really funny if there wasn't any rain today in Columbia, Missouri, but yet Arizona State cancels a road game with an SEC team because of an RPI purpose. So they wondered, how do you calculate RPI? It's a weighted formula of 3 parts. 1/4 of it is your winning percentage. Half of the RPI is your opponent's win percentage. And then the other 25% is the winning percentage of your opponent's opponents. So that's what it goes into. You got to hope that the teams that you schedule or that the SEC gives you on your schedule have a halfway decent non-conference schedule. And then you also got to hope that the guys that you schedule for non-conference actually win some games against their teams and so on and so forth. So it's a convoluted. It's not, I would say convoluted. It really isn't convoluted. It's just 3 things. It's just really difficult to boil it down and say, well, what is one win against this team going to do for us? 2 losses to Stetson, though, puts you in a place where, because those games are at home, I'm not sure how much better Arkansas's RPI can get here unless some of those other teams that they've beaten win. You need Oklahoma State to win games. You need Texas Tech to win some games. They're not winning a lot of games right now. You need Ole Miss to win next week. But then again, Ole Miss, you're battling in the standings. So, So and it's not like the committee just goes by RPI, because if Georgia clinches the SEC regular season championship this next weekend, they should be top 8, even though their RPI was 20, I think, when I last checked it. You win the SEC regular season, I think you take the RPI, you ball it up and throw it in the garbage because it doesn't mean anything. If you win the SEC regular season, you're one of the top 8 teams in the country. Usually you're number 1 or number 2 in the country, but it doesn't work out that way this year.
Phil, wouldn't it be just real logical to have some common sense and say the SEC champion is in the toughest league in the country is
absolutely
is the number 1 seed? I
That's
guess
right.
UCLA is the number 1 seed. I don't know.
They're number 1, yeah, and I think they probably would be no matter what, because I can tell their RPI isn't going to go anywhere, and they're going to have a gaudy record to begin with, and then UCLA will have some wins over other bigger programs. I think
Correct.
they have a win over A&M. They have a 3-game sweep of USC. USC's playing well, so you want to have number 1, but again, it's just like this new world of college sports you live in, because you don't have divisions, because there's more teams in the league. Usually the RPI just takes care of itself if you win the SEC, but it's not necessarily the case anymore. But they got to go by something. I mean, you have to have some kind of ranking for your committee to go by. I mean, they can do all their own research and everything, and the eye test and all of that, but these computer percentages should mean something. You got to have something to go off of. Net ranking, RPI, whatever it is. I know the college football committee's got some sort of rankings to go by, but I think they go specifically by the league you play in and eye test sometimes. And yes, record's going to have something to do with it. But I don't know what necessarily the kind of like analytics they go off of when I know baseball goes off RPI. Anyway, that's why you get these cancellations. That's why, RPI 49 doesn't want to play RPI 299 on May 5th. I just wonder why you even schedule these games.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, what does Arizona State get out of that game, other than it's a win and it's a road game? But you knew, it's not like it's a surprise that Missouri's RPI and their record's going to be substandard. It's going to hurt you. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. I like the way Dave's done it now, where it's don't play a midweek game the last 2 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of takes it out of the equation.
I remember it was my first year doing the Arkansas games, Clay, that the last week of the regular season, they went on the road for a Tuesday game. But that was to Creighton. That was at the College World Series ballpark. And I remember
method to the madness.
Yes, I remember Dave saying, I scheduled that game for a reason. And they went and they beat Creighton in that game. You remember that team had to go on the road for a regional because they started 1-5 in the SEC, and then I think it was 7 straight, maybe 8 straight series after. And it's just like, well, how long are you going to be on the road? They were on the road. We were on the road. We got there on a Tuesday, played the game, stayed over. No, we got on the road Monday, stayed overnight, played the game, flew to Georgia that night, had a Thursday game against Georgia, play through Saturday, fly to Hoover. The team was on the road for 10 days, and they were in Hoover for, I think, 5 of them. It's just you put yourself in a position where you could be playing a lot of road games, and you're not used to doing that. It's not like you're a northern team in February and you're making some tour of the South. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see midweek games any longer here when it comes time for May, because you don't have to cancel anything, and you don't, because it's a bad look. Like I think it's people understand the reasoning. You already take a hit if you don't play 56. Your RPI takes a hit if you don't get to 56. But what they're saying is, well, we'd rather the RPI hit from not playing is better than playing the 300th best team, or I guess that's the 6th worst team in the country.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well,
and you can't do this in football. It's like now that you've got, I just love the idea of back when you had 8 games in the SEC and Cupcake Week was before, rivalry week. Just go ahead and cancel Alabama versus North Alabama or whatever, or Samford against Auburn. Or whatever. It's not like that's going to but nobody worries about that in college football. And now that you got 9 games, Cupcake Week moves earlier in the season. So Arkansas and North Alabama, Mizzou and UAPB, Georgia and Tennessee State, Kentucky and Youngstown, Mississippi State and ULM, Carolina, Kent State, Tennessee versus Furman, Vandy and Austin P, Texas State, Florida, FAU, OU and UTEP. That's all week 1. They're not all jamborees, to use Matt's terminology, for the games against your the FCS schools. But that is a cupcake week, and you can't do that before rivalry week anymore. In fact, I think when you look at the schedule, the week before the Thanksgiving games, they're all league games now, all of them.
Phil, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Christian Turner earned himself some starts over the next 2 weekends, maybe some playing time in Hoover.
That's a good question, Clay. The answer is probably yes. But part of this is also, you have to remember who he came in for, and it's a veteran in Zach Stewart.
It's another left-hander, too.
It's another left-handed batter who hits for power, and the way that Dave has used that right field spot with Stewart starting is that Zach will come out of the game for defensive purposes, or not just for defensive purposes, but like he did on Sunday, for base running purposes that turns into defensive purposes. So I think you could see that as well as the season goes along.
They just look for more opportunities to get him in the game.
Right, because it's not like Stewart, because Zach, in this last series against Mizzou, 3 walks, a hit by pitch, 1 for 5, and the one was a home run. He's hit 51 career home runs. That's a guy who could, depending on the situation, maybe hit a home run for you, almost any at-bat. You hit that many in your career. But I do think you got to feel better about what's available off the bench for a pinch hit situation. And not just for, hey, here's Turner. Let's throw him out there and ask him to bunt. Or, let's throw him out there just so we can play the outfield. Because that at-bat said something about him. So I don't know if it means he starts a lot in the near future. He might get one this next weekend. But I don't think that they'll worry about giving him a chance for an at-bat late in a game. And then here's the other thing about Stewart. He's really a hot and cold kind of a hitter. So if he is starting and he does go cold, which happens, well, you got somebody off the bench that now you trust in a different way. So I think what that meant for me is that the bench it's not that there is that big of a bench to begin with, right? With Reese's injury, and think of how he had, Dave, you don't really have a lot of right-handed options. You had a left-handed hitter in Turner hitting against a left-handed pitcher in Hooks in that situation, and so often you would go to a right-handed hitter just to get a righty, just to get a better look. And I don't remember what Hooks' splits were.
I think they were similar.
Yeah. So in that situation, quite often you would go to the right-hander, and I don't know, when you think of some of the right-handed options, Peck, Brumbaugh, Corneliuson, and Schaefer. Maybe it's not like these kids, and they're young, they're freshmen, they haven't shown.
They hadn't been in that situation.
No, they hadn't been in that situation yet, and Turner has. You think about freshmen, because Dave said, what was it in the postgame the other day? Dave said, I told you in the fall, you got to have freshmen. And we thought that the freshmen were going to be Peyton Lee, Mark Brissy, Carson Brumbaugh, top of the list. Carson was the D1 baseball, the D1baseball.com preseason SEC freshman of the year. And he's a forgotten player now because, if you've watched, you kind of know why. And Brissy's fallen off somewhat, Lee's fallen off, and then here's Turner, who has now risen in our eyes a little bit with his only hit in 3 weeks. So that's the other aspect of it too, Clay. It's like he hadn't had a hit in 3 weeks. He hadn't had an at-bat in 2 weeks. There is a reason for that because he hadn't really showed, up until then that he's going to do much for you. So I would just say go ahead, hit a walk-off home run every time up. No, you got to be productive when you get your chance. And I think he will get a chance again.
That's pretty good production. We're never going to forget that one. We're that really where you get to the end of the season and it's like, did that jumpstart him or was it just one at bat in the middle of the the season? I mean, is it something really that does something for this team, or gets them a little better seed? Maybe they host. Maybe it's you can look back at that. But I saw him play in 2 scrimmages in the fall, and he was dynamite on the base path. You run a lot more in the fall. You're really trying to test the catchers, and Helfrich wasn't out there, so the 2 catchers they had weren't going to throw him out. But he stole second, stole third, I think twice.
Well, he can really get the bat around too. Like, you'd look at Christian and think, no, that's just a singles hitter, and any extra base power comes from speed. No, he can get that bat around, and his real power is to left field. When you've got pop to left field, that means you can hit it anywhere, which is what he did. He's on the fastball, left field. He gets a hanging slider, yanked it over the right center field fence. That's the strategy that Nate Thompson reminded him of, and that's the strategy that he remembered for that hanging slider. All right, we'll break.
Well, he's a fantastic athlete. I mean, yeah.
Well, he's also part of the future. It's like, well, for right now, that's right now. But in the future, that kid
he has a big summer.
He's like your starting center fielder next year, probably. Want to remind you about the Clay Maxey Auto Group, with a promise to provide a level of service that maximizes your drive at every step in your car ownership. Personalized car buying, competitive, transparent pricing, and reliable, consistent repairs from factory-trained technicians. Folks at Clay Maxey Auto Group always go beyond the sale. They'll ensure a seamless, enjoyable, tailored experience to fit your vehicle needs. That's Clay Maxey Auto Group. They're in Harrison, Mountain Home, Clinton, or Berryville. Also, ClayMaxeyAutoGroup.com. They ask for the opportunity to maximize your drive today. Bill King will join halftime right after this.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they love the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus. I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
100 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
I keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, your hands on the wheel. You're never going to the roadhouse, you're a real.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Bill King is on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline, hosting on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio, from 6 to 9, Mondays through Fridays. And always appreciate your time Tuesdays, Bill. How you doing today?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
Good, man. Hey, it's a tradition unlike any other. We got baseball teams making RPI cancellations. The latest one, I think I saw Miami canceled. Was it Florida International? It was another one of those schools. Yeah, I know you're a college baseball guy too, but this is the only sport where you have cancellations because of a resume. And the only other, all we do in college football and basketball at the end of the season is argue about the resume. College baseball's got it figured out. You just cancel those games.
Tell you who you don't want, because you could very well lose the game, is Bethune-Cookman. They went to LSU and Florida midweek, beat them both.
They sure did. They absolutely sure did. Hey, what was the number that I think I've heard recently that we saw a number? I think Sean Miller threw a dollar figure out there about college basketball teams, 25 million. Rehearing over $50 million now for college football teams, Bill. And it's just amazing to think, because I think the House settlement dollar figure was $20.5 million for your entire athletic department, and now there's college football teams that are spending more than twice than that on just football alone.
Advice for anybody listening: anytime you hear an AD or a coach or an administrator say this is unsustainable, do not believe them. At least don't believe that they believe it, because they're well exceeding all these numbers. And now they're suing. The same lawyers involved in the court case are suing to have that cap of 21.5 in-house. And I guess every year it incrementally increases, maybe 22.5 this next year, to eliminate that cap, which I bet they get done. So the in-house money is about to be uncapped. The collective money is uncapped. They're suing also the CSC, which is the body that determines the collective money and approves it or not. It is an absolute circus, and it's not slowing down, and there is no movement to slow it down.
So if the House dollar figure becomes uncapped, I don't understand the purpose to actually having the settlement then anymore. Although there is that line of delineation between what rev share money is and what NIL money is, and we still sometimes in our heads conflate the two of them. But what you're talking, because right now the NIL thing seems it is uncapped. You got schools that didn't sign the CSC contract; it's already uncapped. So this would be the one way to ensure that if you uncap the House settlement rev share dollars, then literally the entire sport is operating without any money restrictions towards players, right?
100%.
Wow. And there's no what? So all right, why would there actually? There's no way that this thing holds then, right? This rev share cap. If it's already been agreed upon, then is that how the court can look at it and say, well, this holds? But if you got a whole group of players that's saying this is unconstitutional, then, and they're probably right about this, this just ends up as another NCAA loss in the courts?
I didn't go to day one of law school, but I am told this is very winnable and will be uncapped, very likely, within I don't know the time frame, but within a year.
So when that becomes uncapped, you really start, we're seeing the separation between, so if I ask you like $50 million salary, a $50 million pool for your football team, what schools are we talking about then?
Ohio State, Texas, Miami's in the running there, probably A&M. Those are a few that come to mind. And immediately when it'll probably happen before, but we're going to have our first $10 million a year, at least rent a quarterback, maybe a fourth-year guy. We're going to have a $10 million rental for 1 year for a quarterback. That is coming way sooner than later.
A $10 million college quarterback.
1 year rental.
I have to wrap my mind around that here for a moment. The whole idea behind the House settlement, aside from trying to pay back money that you owed to players that they were due. Well, they weren't due then, but obvious for unconstitutional reasons. But it's the idea of fairness in the sports world, where Major League Baseball might not have a salary cap, but that's what they're trying to move towards. You get all these other sports where there is a range that you are allowed to spend on players. And if you go past that in the NBA, well, then you owe a certain amount of money. Same with Major League Baseball. Because they want, I don't know if the word is fairness. The whole point is to not have the market that you play in decide whether or not you're really a have or a have not. But that's what college sports turns into. If this whole thing is uncapped, then it becomes about alumni base. It becomes about the region that you play in and the amount of people that are there. Then it becomes about the population that you live around, right?
Well, think about the Big 12 getting involved in private equity. We are now in a situation where some are literally borrowing money against the future to pay for this. And no telling what kind of mess that's going to get you. But the dumbest thing you could do, but it's happening everywhere. And obviously what Duke's doing with basketball. So guys, again, we are beyond the Wild West. If you're walking down the street, you better be loaded with ammunition and guns. It's as lawless as you can imagine.
So when you say that people say that this is unsustainable, it's unsustainable for a certain amount of schools. It is sustainable for the schools that you just said. So when the thing becomes unsustainable for a place like Arkansas compared to a school like Texas, that's when it's unsustainable for a group, they leave. Or the group where it is sustainable say, you know what? We're just going to go form our own thing now. That to me is it's not the college football, is a house of cards that falls in upon itself. It's that at some point, the schools that are in the same league aren't really playing the same game any longer.
Yep. I mean, we've always had haves and have-nots, and we're further separating that division in lots of cases. I should also mention Texas Tech. You asked me to list a group. They're in that same group because of Cody Campbell. They were playing I guess they're not going to pay Sorsby right now, but they were on the hook for about $5 or $6 million for him.
Is that? I mean, people ask us all the time. Is like, well, does he get his money if he doesn't play? I don't know the answer to that. But if the contract is signed, and I don't know, there's got to be something about, if you do this, well, you don't get the money. But I also think to myself, Bill, and I meant to ask you this last week, but I forgot to text you. Don't you think that Texas Tech should do due diligence, or anybody to do due diligence on any player coming in? And it's not just about injury history. It's also about if there maybe might be a gambling problem for the kid, because I'm reading about how the folks at Cincinnati kind of knew about this, but you're not going to be able to talk to the Cincinnati coaches, but you have to do proper due diligence, and it doesn't seem that Texas Tech did that.
He signed at Indiana with Tom Allen, and he was betting on Indiana games while he was there, and it was known. This has been out there for. Now, I didn't know about it. I don't think if somebody in the media would have known about it, it would have been reported. So it was kept quiet. And in this environment, that's a little bit surprising too. That stage is quiet. You read he would go to Reds games and bet on the next pitch.
Well, again, it's that might be legal potentially for a kid. Right. It's not your sport, but on the other hand,
it's not NCAA legal.
Right. Well, not NCAA legal then, and that right. Obviously matters in that case too. Right. Hey, last thing here, Bill. It looks like Vandy may be missing out on the regionals this year. Their RPI is in a real bad place after this sweep loss against Alabama. Do you think this is? Look, I mean, I think it's the longest streak. I forget the number. If it's either 16 or 19 straight regionals, and Corbin is just a great baseball coach. Is this a blip on the radar, or is this a sign of things to come there? Because they've got a good incoming class next year.
I don't think Vanderbilt's adjusted to the environment. Football has. I don't think baseball has the funding. A two-time national championship coach, a guy's competed for it many other times as well. And I think they're suffering. Their pitching is their main problem. Their best pitcher they pulled after 70 pitches inexplicably the other night. They were up 4-1. Got beat after that. You saw the player pacing like in the dugout and kind of back by the door, so pissed off he couldn't contain himself. It's kind of ugly over there right now.
Well, we'll see what happens when they get to the SEC tournament. Bill, appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. I hope you got the time next week. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, joining us He is joining us every Tuesday. He himself does his show on WNSR every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9. And he joins us Tuesdays, our weekly guest lineup. Tomorrow on Halftime, we're going to have Grant Hall and Dudley Dawson. Clay won't be here tomorrow. He'll be joining us on Thursday instead. Our weekly guest lineup brought to you by Swift's Jewelry in downtown Fayetteville. If you're popping the question, if you're celebrating an anniversary, just looking for something special, Swift's is the place to go. Right on Block Avenue, where they've been since 1956, next to Hugo's. Trusted name for years and years. Swift specializes in custom jewelry and engagement rings, also watch repair. Get a look at swiftsjewelry.com to learn more, or just stop by in the town square and say hello at Swift's Jewelry, celebrating life's biggest moments. We'll be back in a moment for the home stretch. This is Halftime.
Why are you shooting threes? Drive the ball.
This is Halftime.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
The Solid Rock will soon be celebrating 50 years as a locally owned source for inspirational gifts. From greeting cards and women's boutique items to custom laser engraving and a large selection of Bibles, they offer something for everyone. While you are there, browse their faith-based books, music, clothing, home decor, and unique, hard-to-find treasures for the whole family. And their Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Located next to the Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock. Share the spirit, enjoy the inspiration. 452-4844.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lutz boxes are so luxurious, you might wonder if a chauffeur will pick you up from the restaurant. And how could you not? With selections like the signature $5 box, decadent $7 box, and abundant $9 box featuring the triple double crunch wrap with layer upon layer of what you love. While the drink is included, a chauffeur isn't. So plan accordingly. Don't let the Lutz go to your head. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Lutz box at Taco Bell today. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezers and specialty beverages. That's extra.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It was voodoo in advance. I was captured by the star, but I could not get you back. Now I stand here helplessly, hoping you get into me. I am so
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group, and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Now let's get back to halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend Matt Jones.
Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry also with us here on Halftime. here on day one of the SEC softball tournament. Auburn beat Missouri 6-2. Kentucky is playing Mississippi State right now in the top of the third. No score. Only mention it because the Hogs get the winner of that game. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, at or around 1 o'clock, approximately 1 o'clock. You never quite know when you're the second game of that session, and you get a game that starts 3 hours ahead of you. But a softball game very rarely crosses that 3-hour mark, right? It's seven innings, so should very rarely get past 3 hours, or maybe 2.5 hours.
You get those extra inning games; they're just nightmares.
Bite your tongue. You don't want any of that stuff. But you're right. Yeah, if you have a four-game day in a tournament, and the first game goes like 15 innings, everybody's screwed for the rest of the day.
You're screwed. Yeah,
I've seen that before. It happened with. Maybe my first year doing Arkansas games, we were supposed to play Florida. The Hogs had played Tennessee the day before and went into extra innings as the last game of the day, and then played Florida, which was either number 1 or 2 in the country in the double elimination round, but the game ahead of us, and I can't remember who it was, went like 13 or 14 innings. So the Hog game didn't start until, I guess it was around 10 o'clock, and it went until 1:30 in the morning. That was Bobby Wernis' 9th inning go-ahead home run that occurred after 1 a.m. I don't think I had any energy left at that point, but the home run brought all the emotion you can possibly have out of anybody.
What's the weirdest game you've done as far as length?
Oh, there was a Traveler game that went 20 innings, not hours, but it felt like 20 hours. And there was a championship series game in 2011. It was the second game of the series. The team lost. The day before, they had blown, I think it was a 3 or 4 run lead in the 9th inning, and lost the first game of the series in heartbreaking fashion. The second game of that series went 20 innings and over 6 hours. And after they lost the game, we had to get on the bus and drive back to Little Rock. It wasn't just like a 2-hour drive or a 3-hour drive. It was 9 hours after a 6-hour loss. Nobody said anything on the bus for a long, long time. And it's not like you can just go to sleep when you get on there. 20 innings, and I called it solo. But at least there were 90-second breaks, so I could go to the bathroom during inning breaks. Otherwise, it was like if it was a 20-inning Razorback game, those are 60-second breaks. I need a bottle with me in the booth during the game.
When I say I did, I attended, and I was working a 21-inning Traveler game at Ray Winder, and I was on the roof. Do you remember they used to have a guy sitting on a folding chair on the roof at Ray Winder?
Well, we didn't have him up there when I worked there. I don't know if they would.
Didn't?
I don't know if OSHA would have allowed that at that point.
Oh, that probably is true. Well, that was back during the day when I don't think anybody cared. But that game went into the late into the night. My father was the official scorer. He came up and got me off the roof. He goes, "I'm afraid you're going to go to sleep in that chair." So he says, "You can come down." The guy that sits up on the roof, the foul ball. There's a fence around the back edge of the roof.
There just wasn't on the front edge of the roof.
Correct, or no railing. It's just, and there's a screen that goes down, and in between innings, the foul balls that stayed up on the roof, you rolled them back down the screen. And there's a guy down there that would run out and catch them when they rolled down the screen. And my father, I think I got $3 a game. He came up and brought me in the press box. There's nobody in there but the PA guy and 2 writers and 1 radio guy. That's all, so there's lots of empty seats. He goes, every 2 innings, you can go up there and collect the foul balls and roll them back down the screen.
You could roll them right down the screen. The chicken wire was perfect for that.
Yeah, and that's what you did. Yeah. So, but he just didn't want me up there by myself at 2 a.m.
A couple of texts coming in here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline at 877-377-6963. Cliff texted in, says Zach Stewart's speed concerns him with fields like Hoover. That's a good point. Depending on where it is you're playing, if you do get to Omaha, huge outfield. Hoover's a big outfield too. It's a little larger than Baum-Walker. And I don't think Zach is necessarily like slow-footed. He's not fast, but I think it's about average. But that is where Turner's speed comes into play, and it leads into the question that Josh had. Josh out of Fort Smith asked if New struggling, can you see Ruiz playing center and Turner in left? Dependable, depending on if it's a right-hander pitching. Because New, there is something about Micah now that he's coming out of it a little bit. He did have a 4-strikeout game on Sunday, so there is that. But he also hit a 2-run homer, which is his first home run in a few weeks. The week before, I think he had one robbed at Mizzou. And remember here, and you pointed this out to me, I think last week about New, Clay. He's a May guy. Like last year, he averaged over 2 RBIs a game in the month of May and hit 11 home runs in 12 games. So he's more than half of his career home runs have come in the month of May. So I'm hoping he starts heating up. There were signs of it a little bit before the 4-strikeout game on Sunday. And his speed, it'd be interesting if he did come off the bench as a pinch runner. I mean, he's going to steal you base if he gets a quarter step on somebody. So, but he can hit better than he's hitting right now. And if he is hitting like that, then I still see Turner maybe sharing some at-bats in the outfield with Stewart, but maybe not starting every game.
It wasn't just May. He had a great summer.
Well, yeah, that too.
He went into, I mean, maybe it's just he needs the heat. But he did make some plays in the field that were pretty spectacular. I think he go up over the fence and get a home run.
He did.
So he's contributing, and I think his speed. And I really think obviously 4 strikeouts is not putting the ball in play, but when he has put the ball in play, he's hit it hard. Oftentimes I think both he and Ryder Helfrich have been hard luck line drive hitters at some point. And Cam's had that in the SEC too. He's hit some balls hard at warning track, up against the fence, that kind of thing.
Cam doesn't hit singles anymore. He hits home runs and doubles, every one of them.
Sure seems like that, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, let me look back here.
He's leading in total bases. Yeah.
Out of his last, let's see, I need glasses in order to see my writing now. Isn't that nice? It's too small in order to see this. Let's see here. Out of Kojal's last, what is that number I wrote? 12 hits. Last 12 hits, 8 of them for extras. So he didn't hit singles very much anymore. Which, hey, if you're a number 3 batter and you got guys on base, you got a guy on first base, you can drive him in with a double or home run, not a single. So, yeah, Cam. I remember thinking when I saw Camden for the first time, I'm like, yeah, this guy might hit a couple of home runs for you. No, not at all. He is thick and strong. And, yeah, leave that ball up on him. He's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, he's a guy that has really worked hard in the weight room. I know Hunter Bell praises him, and that's the old football mentality. And you don't take too many guys that have played football in the state of Nebraska and that they haven't spent time in the weight room. That's just legendary in that part of the country. That the University of Nebraska was the first really program in the 70s that had a weight room that was just colossal. It was the length of the football stadium at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, and that's just a known factor of the kids growing up in Nebraska. They're gonna lift.
Hey, if you're checking out a great weekday lunch spot in Fayetteville, the place to go is Flyway Brewing Company. That's also a great place to host a lunch meeting that will impress. Great lunch menu, big time space for private dining, and of course, when you're thinking Flyway, there's fresh beer, cold, crisp, and ready when the workday wraps up. Got a game you want to watch? They got big screens at Flyway. You won't miss a minute of it. Great food, fresh beer, all the action. Flyway Brewing Company, Zion Road in Fayetteville. Make it your next stop. We'll wrap up halftime after this.
Shoot, just being a hog feels official now. So it's a great feeling, hearing all the fans, all the support, and I'm definitely excited.
This is halftime.
Hey everyone, Josh Earnhardt here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. Do you like doing business with local companies? Did you know that AAA Business Systems is one of only a few truly local office technology providers in Northwest Arkansas? Ask your current technology provider where their corporate office is, and let's keep your money in Northwest Arkansas. Buy local, support local. Call us today at 479-442-4185, and remember, anything else is just a copy.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast, free internet to keep me connected to work and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800 or visit inatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could beat lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent
It's sad
anything.
that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Brace yourself. May mayhem has exploded at the Lewis Automotive Group and they're crushing prices like never before across all 5 locations. Lewis Automotive, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years.
Everything to you. You say you want to start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving. But if you want to leave, take good care. We have a lot of nice things to wear, then a lot of nice things turn bad out there.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Well, we've made it to the last segment of halftime here on a lovely Tuesday where it continues to be dark and rainy outside the home studio. But hey, it's going to be nice by the end of the week when the Razorbacks will be playing baseball against Oklahoma. And we'll get into more of that tomorrow with Dudley Dawson and with Grant Hall. Bubba Carpenter joining us on Thursday, as well as Brett Dolan. So a lot more on the upcoming baseball series coming up, too. I'm going to hit on basketball when we get to tomorrow. I was looking through some of the SEC teams and the way that they're putting their teams together. Saw the Vols just signed the top player left in the portal, Juke Harris. They, in fact, have to refute. I don't think Tennessee's got to refute it, but there's rumors out there they're paying him $5 million. Of course, Tennessee's going heavy on the transfers. Florida pretty much is running back almost the same team. Auburn's got 5 transfers out, 6 transfers in. Georgia's running a lot of the same guys back with the exception of Wilkinson and Cyril. Just kind of go. I want to go.
Which was their team?
That's right. Well, Blue Cane and Millender are still
player.
there. Yeah. They still have their. They still have the second through fourth leading scorers. They just don't have Wilkinson, and they don't have their top rebounder, shot blocker. Mizzou's heavy in the portal. Texas is kind of doing it between returners, portal, and freshmen. And, with Cal and Arkansas right now, it's portal too. But I think people are kind of like acting like they're not in on the portal. I think you just got a really high level scorer out of the portal in Wilkinson. And I got a few other teams I got to look at.
Furman, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few. How many teams did I look at here? Because you got what, 16 in the SEC? I looked at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I looked at about 8 of the teams. So I got that counts Arkansas as one of them. So it'd be 9. So I got another 7 teams or so that I want to at least look. Because, I remember going into the season and we looked at how Arkansas was going to be led by 2 freshmen, and they were led by 2 freshmen. And now who knows, they're going to be led by 4 freshmen. Just be interested to see. Comparing that against the rest of the SEC. So something we'll do tomorrow when we reconvene for halftime. If you missed anything on the show today, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast will be ready to go in a moment. Ruskin and Zach are also ready to go. And then we'll talk to you tomorrow. So hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday.